Hello? Who was at the party last night? Okay, so we are not going to do the dance. We were thinking about doing a dance, but we are not going to do it. First of all, I would like to thank Kuba and Marta and Snowdog for organizing this. It's really important to have you here. It was a pleasure to come, and I think also you and the other speakers had fun and enjoyed. I learned a lot of things in the last 2 days, and I hope my presentation and workshop will help you. Please ask as many questions as you want, even during the presentation. You can stop me and have a few questions. Okay, so I will talk today about integrating Magento with ERPs. I'm not going to relate to exactly to one ERP. I worked on around 20 integrations with 10 different ERPs, so I learned a lot of things by trial, and I would like to share these things with you. Maybe if you do it, and when you do it next time, you will not do the same mistakes that I did at the beginning. I'm an executive director at Netlogiq. We are an agency in Romania. We do Magento development. I have a project management background, so I was dealing with a lot of Magento projects before being an executive director. Still, I work with Magento projects, and I'm an e-commerce consultant. Okay, so type of integration. In my experience, I found 3 types of integration between Magento and ERP. We have one-way integration we are taking information from the ERP and inserting them into the website. We have another one-way integration where we integrate information from the site to the ERP, and two-way integration where we have information from the ERP going into the site and back. Okay, let's talk about the integration between ERP and Magento. What information do we bring usually from your ERP to Magento? We are talking about product information, so quantity information, availability, location, in which warehouse do we have the information, price information, if you have pictures, images, attributes, names, descriptions, cross-sell, upsell, categories, and also weight. Maybe some of you are integrating the shop with a carrier, so you can calculate all the shipping costs by using the weight that you already have in your ERP. Usually, merchants have this information. They know how heavy are their products. Okay, we have another type of integration when we take information from Magento to ERP. We are talking about order information, so what products we ordered, what were the prices of the products that were ordered, the quantity of products that we ordered, if there were any discounts, royalty points, and so on, shipping costs per product and per order, payment method, and shipping method. Also, we send information about the client, who ordered it, on which address he wants to bill it, is it a legal entity, is it a natural person, so on. And two-way integration. This is my favorite. So you have information going from your ERP to the site, and from the site to the ERP. When you do this, you do everything that I said before, but also you take information about the order status. For example, you send from Magento to your ERP, I know the order is pending. After the person who was running the ERP is shipping the order and they flagged it in your ERP as shipped, you can connect, actually your ERP is connected to Magento, it will send just the order ID and the status, and it will change the status in Magento and the clients get informed. You don't have to go back into the Magento store and change and do it twice. Also about the payment status. This is, in Romania, it's an important issue because in Romania only 10% of the people are using credit card to pay products when they order online. So it's very important to know if the customer has to pay on delivery, so cash on delivery, or it was already paid. Also, customer information. In which group do we have him? And more and more in the last years, we talked about discounts and royalty points. Okay, Actually, I tell this to merchants usually. Why should we do it? But also, when working with developers, they ask me, why do we do this? Why do we need all this information? So you don't have to work twice. When you have an ERP and a Magento store, and you don't have a connection between them, everything that you do, you will do it twice. You will do it in the Magento store, then you will go in your ERP and do it again. You will have your catalog up to date, so you don't have to worry about prices that are changed, products that are not available anymore. And another important thing, maybe you know, did you ever open an ERP? Okay, so let me tell you, it's really hard to create an order in an ERP. So one of my clients asked me to go and to check the ERP, and they told me, okay, make an order. They gave me the Magento order that they printed, and I had to create an order in the ERP. It took me like 40 minutes because I didn't have any training, but with training, it takes like 20 minutes to insert all the information manually. And you can make mistakes. It's boring, actually. I got bored only after doing one. Imagine people doing this all day. And you're spending a lot of money. You're losing money on this. Why should we do it? People make mistakes. You don't have to double-check your information. Did I enter the correct information about the order? Is this order arriving at the correct address? You don't have to be worried about this. Also, if you are running a business-to-business store or you're working with a business-to-business store, multiply this by 10, 100, 1,000. Imagine when you have an order with, I don't know, 100, 200 products that were ordered, and you have to do it manually. What are we gaining? First, we are gaining time. So we have more time to deal with other problems. Money, we are not gaining money, but we are saving money, because we don't lose time doing unimportant things. And as a business owner or as a developer or as a merchant, you can focus your energy, your time and resources on solving real problems that you have in your company or your own merchant. For example, you can take your people who are working with the Magento store and help them train and be better at shipping products and creating user experience. Where should I start? As a developer or as an agency? I think most of you are developers, no? Okay, so I will tell you from a developer's point of view. First, usually when someone comes to you and say, like the product owner or project manager says, okay, guys, we are working on a nice integration between this ERP and Magento. They will give you a documentation and they leave. If they do this, you might get lost and you're going to hate them. First, you have to find out if there's any API in that ERP. Most of them, the old ones that are already established, don't have an API. And it's really complex to build one. Also, you have to find out how you can import or export information from the ERP. Because Magento, as most of you know, has an API. You can use it. I'm sure that everyone knows about it. Make a list. This is very important with a product owner about the things that you're going to synchronize between the two components. Don't leave it like, okay, we will find out on like during the project and just add this, add this, add this. Also, if you want, I recommend to you to use the Magento API to insert and to import and export information, but if you don't want to do it, maybe it's too slow for you, you can build a custom extension that does that. What is the most important thing, actually? Even if you're a developer, the most important thing is to understand what you need to do, what your clients need. So I'm always working around 20% of the time in this kind of project on mapping the information that I'm going to transfer from the ERP to the site and back. Like, I take everything. Because, for example, if you just leave it like an address, maybe for some of you say, okay, I will just synchronize the address from the order. Actually, each ERP has a different way of doing things. There are ERPs who they have just a field with address, and there are ERPs where they have fields for city, postal code, region, country, number, floor, and so on. And if you don't deliver all this information, and if you don't find out that you will spend a lot of time on debugging, because your information or your order will not gonna go inside the ERP, and you have to just F5 execute your code. Also, you will have to do it at some point. If you don't do it from the beginning, you will do it in the middle, because you're just gonna fail, and it will take 2 or 3 times more. If you had this kind of experience where Magento, we're integrating an ERP with Magento took, I don't know, 200 hours, maybe you should think that you didn't had all the information. Now we can do a Magento integration with an ERP, like both ways, in around 40 hours. But first it was 350 hours, because no one told me anything. We had to just do it by trial. Also, I have this rule. I don't start before collecting all the information. When like a customer says, okay, we have almost everything we need to know, and you can start doing it, and we will find out the rest of the fields of the rest of the information after we start. I would say no. I don't want to do it like this. Let's work maybe 1 day more, 2 days more, a week more to find all the information. How can you do it? It depends also on the ERP. You can use the Magento API, as I was saying, or you can build the custom extensions. I saw some solutions, I'm not a big fan of them, where they were extracting information straight from the database. That's the easiest way to do it. So if you don't have time, you can do it. It's not a smart and elegant solution, but it still works. Also, as they were saying when they were talking about SAP and another integration, you can work with CSV, TXT, and XML files. Some ERPs are reading really simple file format. Another thing, avoid working directly with the database. So don't try not to write directly into the database of the ERP. They don't have like versioning systems and so on. They are really old systems. Also, I always keep a log of all the information that I collected with, I don't know, the date and why do we need it, where do we use it in ERP, why the customer needs it, and also a log about the customers that are exported, a log about the orders that are exported, a log about when we imported the products, when we did the reindex, what products were ordered, because sometimes it's not, you can find, I don't know, you have different problems. I will give you an example. We are working now with a travel agency that has a Magento store. It's a bit different, and they have around 20 different data feeds coming from different tour operators, like TUI, Neckermann, if you know them. And a few days ago, the guys from Neckermann started sending us information in Hungarian. And so on their production website, suddenly they had all this information in Hungarian. And who did it wrong? We had, like, the client was really upset, like, what happened? And we took the log and we started to see when this happened. And after that, we contacted the feed provider, and they said, yeah, we know about this. You should stop it, because in the next 3 months, it's going to be like this. Our luck was that we had that log, and we could prove the client that it wasn't our fault, because if not, you can have troubles with your clients. They will be upset. They will not understand sometimes. Also, use email notifications. So you receive an email, maybe not every time an order is exported, but when you import, when product information, when you reindex, when, I don't know, every day with all the orders, so it's easy for someone to keep track of this information. Also, reindex your store after your updates. Maybe you know that, but my first experience when started working with Magento, as Ben said, clearing the cache and reindexing was helping me a lot. Products weren't there, and I couldn't understand why. And actually, the solution was just simple. And we were talking a bit before the workshop. You can do a partial reindex. You don't have to reindex your whole catalog. Daniel actually had a nice module he was telling us about. You can reindex specific product IDs and category IDs. So if you have a big catalog with, I don't know, 100,000 products, and you don't want to reindex 80,000 products, you can, I don't know, reindex 100 products. Also, keep track of your exceptions. From day one, when you start working on the documentation and the project, keep track of all of your exceptions, and I will tell you in a minute why. Use cron jobs, so make everything automatically. Mark exported orders. So when an order goes from Magento, you can create a simple table and just have a like status 1 exported. So you're not going to export it every time, this order. Also, this you can go back with and re-export the order then. Update your stock information as rarely as possible. Maybe you will consider this a cliché. In Switzerland, we were talking about this because marketing people and clients need the information. They need new information really fast. Like we have clients who are saying we need to update our prices every 15 minutes, and I ask them why. They might change. Okay, are they changing? Once a month, maybe they are changing more often than 1 hour. So then we are just updating the information only once an hour. Don't update it as fast as they want, because it's not going to help the performance of the server. Now I'm going to talk about exceptions and challenges. Actually, these were the things that I encountered and created problems for my projects, and where we lost a lot of time and money. First, shipping costs. If you work with an ERP and your customer is selling products that you can, like real products, you will have the surprise that they don't have in the ERP way of invoicing shipping costs. So in Magento you have, let's say, different shipping costs depending on where you're sending it, but they don't have that in their ERP. And what we did is, I don't know if it's smart, maybe I'm open to improve this. When you export the order, we create a product that has a unique SKU for shipping, and they created that product into the ERP. So let's say they created a product in the ERP, and it's called shipping, and it has a code, I don't know, shipping rate. And when we are exporting the order, when we check if we have any shipping costs, and we just say, okay, add another product with this SKU, and it costs 15 euro. And then when they import, they will have also the shipping costs. We found out that we were delivering orders to the client's ERP, but we didn't have any information on how much it's going to cost to send it. And the totals were different from the site to the ERP. Also, discounts. A lot of ERPs don't have a good way to deal with discounts. We had the same solution defined in the ERP product that's called discount, assigned the SKU, and Magento, you leave it how you have, how it's there, but when you export the order, you create in that exporting environment this exception. Also about the payment method and status of the payment. This came, as I said, because some people are paying with credit card, other people are paying with cash on delivery. So they have to know if they already have the money or if they have to ask for the money. About VHT, I don't know if you got this, but we had clients who had products with VAT in the ERP system. They were inserting the products like this in Magento with prices, but when they were doing the orders, the invoices, they needed the prices without the VAT. So you have to see, okay, how are my prices? Because we had this problem. No one asked how the prices should be, because we assumed if we are importing them already with VAT, we should give them the same. But we were doing a mistake because we didn't ask, and we were giving the wrong prices. And there was a problem with bundled products, because as you know, when you do with bundled products, you have dynamic SKU created. But they were creating like a package, you know, like And they were sending each product separately, and they couldn't make a reservation for the stock because of this. Also, unit measurement. I spent with this problem once half a day, I think, so more than 4 hours, because the ERP wasn't recognizing an order if you weren't giving a unit measure for the product, even if it was piece. So we were selling just pieces of shoes, but if we were not sending, I don't know, one piece, it wasn't working, and no one told us. And this is one of examples where you can like lose money and time. Also, some of the store owners have two codes. They work with unique code, with barcode. You know, there are so many. You have a code from your producer. You have another code from the company who's distributing the information, and you have your own internal code. Which one are you using it? And sometimes you're using free codes. Keep track of them. Maybe you will import with one code and export the other one. So ask. Also file names. When working with ERPs that are using XML files or TXT files, they had these exceptions about the file names that we were sending to the ERP. So you had to have like order, underline, number of order, but the same. Told us how should be the form. We had to like just do trial and error. And different technology. Actually, this is the biggest challenge that we have now. For example, we are working now on an integration with Microsoft Dynamics, and it runs, and also other ERPs that are built with .NET technology, and they are using Windows servers. And we have a problem actually with the ERP. We are dealing now for 3 or 4 days. If we export the orders and the customers from the Magento store, and we try to insert them into the ERP, you cannot do it because the ERP does not accept commands from a Linux server. If you take that piece of code and execute it on the Windows server, it works. And the solution that we had to do, I don't know if it's elegant, but we had to do a application, like an executable application, and we install it on the server where the ERP is working. And that application is connecting to the Magento store, not the Magento store to the ERP. And the same, no one told us that we should do like this. No one told us that ERP is not compatible with working with Linux servers. Solutions. Make it simple. Don't overdo it. When you try to overdo it, it's gonna take so long, and you're gonna get stuck in. Just keep it simple. Use open source tools. If you don't have a big budget, or your client says, "Okay, I have only, let's say, budget for 50 hours, 40 hours," you can use with some exceptions. For example, for importing, there are at least 5 or 6 good extensions, or for example, I like MagMe to use MagMe when a customer does not have a budget for that. Do you know MagMe? So MagMe is, I think, one of the simplest way to import products. It's vulnerable, so you have to make it secure, and you have to take care of that part, but it's really easy to import and update products, product information, create configurable products, and so on. Also, build a wiki based on the info that you have. So doing all these integration, I took all like this kind of information and created like a knowledge base. And when I have a new team working on a ERP integration, even if they didn't do any ERP integration, they just go through this wiki. So they know what kind of problems they could have, what exceptions, and they know what to ask the company who built the ERP, because the majority of the time the client says, okay, this is a company that builds or is helping me with the ERP. Please go talk with them because it makes no sense to ask me. And if you go to them, they will be, yeah, we have everything, it works perfectly, and you trust them. You have to put questions like, do you have this, do you have this, do you have this, do you have this? How do you treat this scenario? How do you treat this scenario? Conclusions. If you do it and you plan it, it can make your life really easy and you can save time and money. For example, now the time it takes to create a ERP integration, it's less than half than when we started to do it. And I'm pretty sure we can still cut some hours down, just because there are these exceptions that I was talking to you about. So the first thing that we are doing, we are getting information. If you don't understand it, and you don't understand the client needs and the ERP, it can be a nightmare. It can hunt you down. It can be stressful. You will leave the office and you will still think, how the hell should I do it? I'm late. If you do a ERP connection and it's correctly, it will eliminate human errors. Also, you can use the resources that you have. Actually, this is more an advice for merchants, not for developers, but still you can use your time doing things that you enjoy doing. I would like to thank you. We still have 3 minutes. If there are any questions, I would be more than happy to answer you. Yes? Please follow me on Twitter.
Hello. I have a question. Many customers ask, they expect that they will have the same stock in the stores they have and the online store. And at the same time, it's going to be updated and very fast that they sell something in the store and it's going to be information in the ERP. And what do you tell them and what is your solution for this?
Let me understand. So you're talking when a customer says that they need to have the information from the ERP in the same time in Magento, or from Magento to the ERP?
I mean the normal store, on the street. Like they have normal stores and they expect that they will have the same management system for the normal store, and I just wonder what you tell to them.
That's a bit more complex, actually. Just a small bracket. If a customer doesn't need like real-time information, you can do update every 5 or 10 minutes. If they need live information, also yesterday was a nice interesting presentation about it. You can use an external a third-party database or information where you can create this, let's say, you are talking now about information about stock and prices, I think. You can just have a simple table with SKU, price, and availability. And you can build an extension that will not use the Magento availability functions, but we will go in that table and just take it every time. And we saw that it was a good solution. It's faster than the standard Magento. It's more expensive, yeah. Only that it takes longer than the whole ERP integration to do that.
Have you worked on distributed ERP implementation? So, for example, let's say there is the same ERP system, but separate installations in different offices.
Not with SAP, but
I don't mean SAP, any ERP.
Actually, now with Microsoft Dynamics we do that because they have 20 stores, so they have a national network of stores in different malls, and they have like on each computer they have a separate installation. And the solution was to use warehouses. So we moved all the information from the ERP about stock in Magento. So now in the stores they are using Magento to sell the products, and we are keeping the ERP only for invoicing and accountability issues. But everything is done by in Magento because we had the opportunity to do it in the ERP, but the budget that they needed was like 4 or 5 times bigger. So when the client is opened, you can use even in stores the Magento store. So
you extract data from the multiple ERPs and you consolidate them on Magento.
In Magento, right? Yeah, and then you can give an extra service in the stores, like giving an iPad to clients, and they can surf in the shop for products that actually are not in that store but are somewhere else in another warehouse. And as we saw, this is a it becomes a hybrid way of doing e-commerce. You can have a show, like a showroom. You're not going to give the person the product, but they can come, try it, and if they like it, they can order it, and you will deliver it back home. So you can have just a small stock of each product and use the Magento, or if you have another e-commerce solution, but use Magento to sell actually the products. Thank you very much. I enjoy being here. If you have any more questions, you can find me after the session.